What's cooking? So, if you're interested in being a decent, good human being in this lifetime, this is your responsibility. You have to do this. And what I'm talking about is holding back the trauma that has been put into your system throughout the generations of your family and society and everything like that. Hold it back and prevent it from being passed on to your children, right? So I was reading this book. It's called The Mastery of Love. I really, really like this book because it explains things in such a almost like stupid simple way. It's so easy to understand, right? And he was talking about basically like trauma, these psychological wounds. They're kind of like mentally transmitted diseases that get passed on from parent to child, child to that child when they grow up. So it's just like this generational thing, right? That just keeps getting passed along. And the problem with it is like me right now, in a way, I am suffering what my parents suffered. You know, the trauma that my granddad gave to my dad, I'm suffering that because my dad never dealt with it. He didn't know how to heal it. He didn't even know how to even hold it back. So he passed it on to me indirectly or directly. And now I'm dealing with the consequences of it. And if I just have a kid unconsciously and don't heal any of this stuff, I'm going to pass all of that same garbage onto the kid. Let me give you an example that one of these memories that really sticks strongly in my head is I don't know how old I was. I think I must have been like 4, maybe 5. And I used to live in Turkey when I was a kid. My dad's Turkish, mum's English. So I used to live in Turkey and I was a bit of a crazy kid. I'll speak about that in a different video. I think that's just because just instability creates a lot of psychological unrest. So I was a bit of a crazy kid sometimes. I'd misbehave. I kind of just wanted to get some attention and love, to be honest. Didn't know how to do that properly. So I'd usually be fucking around, like breaking stuff. So one of these days, I think I was at home with my siblings and I was like picking on one of them, just being annoying. I think I made them cry or something like that. And my mum was dealing with my other brother who's younger than me as well. So she was dealing with basically a baby. And I was just messing around, making my other sibling cry or something. And I just remember it so clearly. She just walks out of the kitchen and she absolutely, like, top of her lungs, screams at me, like, stop doing that. And then, I mean, some other stuff on top of it. But that's all I remember was the feeling of like how loud her voice was. It was so frightening. And I literally just on the spot burst into tears. I think I shouted back at her, like, you're scaring me. And I ran upstairs just crying my eyes out. And like, the reason I tell you that story is because, and I'm not blaming my mother here, by the way. I'm not insulting her, saying she's a bad parent in any way, shape, or form. She's been incredible parent in so many ways, right? But what I'm trying to say is like that unconscious way of responding is a result of the way she was treated as a child. Now, she was actually treated much worse by her parents, like much worse. Like, she hasn't even told me all the stories, but like her dad sounded like a psycho, right? So she held the line, right? She chose to do what I'm saying here, which is like she never laid a hand on me. She never hit her kids. She never did anything like that, which is the kind of stuff that happened to her. So you can see how she held that trauma back from being passed on to me, right? Because through her awareness, she could see that that was wrong. But she wasn't perfect. She still didn't know how to deal with everything. So she still passed some trauma on, right? So I'm saying my responsibility here, same for you, your responsibility is the garbage that gets passed on to you. You need to work on yourself, heal as much of it as possible so you can pass on as little, ideally none, right? Ideally none, of course, but as little as possible. Because, like, this is a Sadhguru quote. I don't know if you know him, but like, if as as a generation, our responsibility is to make sure the next generation is doing better than we were. And I don't just mean materially, like in terms of well-being, that they are better off than we were. Otherwise, we're just a disaster. We're just like a collapsing society that's destroying its people if the generations are getting worse one by one, right? They need to keep getting better. So, and I was reading this book, right? And when I read this, he was like, you have to heal these things. I just had this like visualization. It's like the thumbnail of this video. Um, and it was just like, you know, like a strong man, like both arms up like this, like holding strong. Um, and like my innocent kids were just playing in front of me. Like all I had for them was just so much love. Um, and it's just holding back like demons behind me, like the demons of the past, like these ugly, like disfigured, like traumatic versions of my parents, their grandparents, myself, like all of it, and just like holding all of it back. Like it's just digging into your back and causing you pain, but you're holding it back. And like I like that visualization because I think to like my masculine strongman brain, it's quite nice, right? Obviously the ideal thing is to like heal and integrate and like kind of dissolve those demons, right? That's the ideal case. But like, when we're not quite there yet, I think, this is a nice analogy, especially for like young guys. Like, just don't pass. Like, it's like the saying, if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say anything at all. And I think that's kind of the same logic here. Like, if you have nothing nurturing, kind, or loving to bring into this world, just don't do anything. The world doesn't need your garbage. Like, let your garbage die with you. You know what I'm saying? Right? Um, and like, I can give an example of this recently. Like, I was dating this girl 3 months ago, and first time I dated a girl in a while. In my first relationship, I was very toxic. We would get into arguments. I would shout. I would be mean sometimes. And after the breakup, I was like, I don't want to do that to my woman. I never want to shout at someone I love ever again. I never want to call them names, insult them, be mean to them, because after that, I always feel guilty about it. I always feel bad about it. And the person feels hurt, and now they start to see me as this mean person. They get traumatized. I don't want to do that to anyone. So when I was with this new girl, and we would have these arguments, and she was triggering me, right? I'm not saying she was being difficult. She was triggering me just by being herself, not being bad necessarily, but being herself. I got such like I had the urge to be compulsive because I haven't fixed the trauma yet. I haven't fully dealt with it. I had the urge to shout at her, just tell her to shut up, go away, stop talking about this kind of stuff. And obviously she's not going to stop, right? But I didn't do it. I didn't I never shouted at her. I literally never shouted at her. But I remember there was one night we stayed up till like 5 in the morning arguing, and she just kept on like disagreeing, digging, saying all this garbage, and like she was getting angry. She was shouting. She was actually like being like weird, like like crazy, like angry, like punching the bed type. Like I've never seen a girl do that. Um, And I was just like, I'm not going to do that. There's no benefit. Like, it's just going to make you afraid, and it's going to make me feel compulsive. There's no benefit in me letting out that blind anger, right? And she was like, oh, you're so suppressed. You're blocking yourself. And I was like, you know what? Fine. I let it out. I raised my voice. I shouted. I did not feel better for it. I just wanted to prove that I could. And like, again, it was not, it's not aligned to who I want to be. That's not how I want to treat the people in my life at all. So I held the line the whole rest of the relationship, and I never shouted at her. Like, I was a bit of a dick sometimes. Like, that was just hard. But anyways, so my point is like, hold the line. Again, like, there's ways to heal. There's ways to more conscious ways to express when you're in pain. Like, instead of shouting or being mean, you can just say, I'm overwhelmed right now. I can't deal with this. This is too difficult for me. Like, you can communicate in a different way, you know? But my whole point is like, you got to hold that line. Like, as a basic starting point, you got to hold that damn line and not pass on your garbage to the people that you care about. Again, another thing is like, I look at things from almost like a karmic perspective, like in Hinduism. And it's like, I think you will get the worst karma, as in the worst energy, when you hurt the people you love. I heard a thing in Buddhism. It was like, apparently you go to like the deepest dimension of hell if you kill a Buddha or your parents, right? There's a couple other things that trigger that, but like if you kill an enlightened being or you kill your parents, you go down to the depths of hell. And I think the reason for that is because like obviously an enlightened being is just like such a high like spiritual consciousness. Is like killing an angel. It's just like your being knows, like your some part of your being knows that that is like the ultimate truth, and killing that pushes that like knowledge within you down. It makes you have to be so unconscious to do that. So if you do an act like that, you have to go down to hell to burn away all of that suffering and trauma. Not sorry. You have to burn away all of that unconsciousness that you've developed by doing such a stupid deed. And it's the same with your parents. Like your parents nurtured you. You might hate your parents, but they nurtured you. They brought you into this world. Without them, you would have literally nothing. So there's some sense of like love and connection with those people. If you kill your parents, again, dude, it's like the worst thing your soul could do because your soul, your heart was like attached to your parents when you were a defenseless child. And if you kill them, you're again going against that loving, connecting part of yourself and being unconscious. So you need to go and suffer for it. Anyway, I'm on a massive spiritual tangent now. But yeah, dude, like, sorry, the reason I said that is like, don't spread your garbage on the people you love. Just don't do it. You might notice like this shit only comes out with the people you love, which just shows you it's something that you need to heal. So I'm gonna wrap it up and leave it there. But like in this generation, things are changing so quickly all the time. I feel like people are waking up really fast, and that can be a volatile process. Like back in like I feel like back in like the 1920s or shit like that, like you wouldn't even think about your emotions. You like your dad might have beat the shit out of you every day of your whole childhood. No one would be able to tell because everyone's like just perform your function in society. Shut up and you know what I mean? Like I feel like that's what it was like back in those harder times. But now we're in these more comfortable times where we can open up a bit more and like we have all this like fucking garbage in our systems that hasn't been worked out. It's like the past generation's trauma. So like if we want this to be a better world, like I said, if you want to be a good human being in this lifetime, it's so important that you at least, again, I'm not saying suppress it necessarily. You can deal with it on your own. You can let it out on your own. Just don't let it out onto other people, especially not your children, man. I was in this book, he was saying, children swim in the ocean of their parents' subconscious mind. They swim in the ocean of your subconscious mind. Don't make them swim through garbage, man. Hold it back. Don't abuse them and fucking heal it. Like, that's all you gotta do. Start today. So, yeah. Take care. Hope that helps.